Ganondorf, the Gerudo thief, the king of evil, the incarnate of Demise's curse, the Demon King Ganon. This man has reincarnated over and over, changed forms, and caused so much dismay to Hyrule ever since his appearance in Ocarina of Time. However, what if he didn't? What if he was an ally?
Well, then nothing will happen. No Ganondorf means no one will go after the Triforce.
Well, no. There have been other evils that fought the bloodline of the hero and the goddess. I, Kotlol, will tell a tale of what events would lead to Ganondorf being an ally of Hyrule. Our first part starts before Ocarina of Time, around the Civil War period. We do not know everything about the war or who started, but we do know that the Gerudos were banished to Gerudo Valley. According to a Gerudo prophecy, a man is born, Ganondorf, the prophesied king of the Gerudo. The boy grows up into a powerful man shaped by the desert and trained in the powers of magic by his surrogate mothers Kome and Kotake, also known as Twin Rova. However, in his research of magic, him and his mothers found a power trying to overwhelm them. However, this attempt is foiled. They try to contact the king and the royal family of Hyrule, but the family ignores it. Only the current queen of Hyrule decides to send the Sheikah to investigate. The Sheikah help discover the darkness within the spirit temple, as it seems the Sage of Spirits has gone missing. They try to seal this unknown being away, but it escapes. Ganondorf believes with the Sage gone that any seal held by the Sage is now broken. The Sheikah agree and Ganondorf requests an audience with the king. As Ganondorf arrives at Hyrule Castle with aid of the Sheikah, he reveals to the king the dark magic he can control. The king instantly demands his guard and the Sheikah to take him out. However, Ganondorf instantly surrenders and proclaims,
"This magic was hidden from you by our people. As the king, I am showing it and surrendering it to you. Your kingdom and your secrets are at danger. The Sheikah can confirm this. If a simple thief, as you call me, can obtain this power, what of those in your own council?"
The king becomes shocked of his knowledge, but knowing his daughter's birth is soon to come, he agrees to Ganondorf's demands and allows him to work alongside with the Sheikah. Then the Civil War breaks out. The princess is born, but the queen of Hyrule fell. A Hyrulean mother flees with their child to the Kokiri forest and leaves the child under the care of the Deku Tree. After the war, Ganondorf believes that someone within the king's people was to blame. However, the king believes all should be united under one banner. With all the leaders of the various tribes agreeing to this, peace has been made. However, the bonds between the Sheikah and the Gerudo waver a bit. Ganondorf seems displeased with the king's decisions and conducts a research of his own into the cause of the war. We now find ourselves at the start of Ocarina of Time. The Kokiri child Link is visited by the fairy Navi, who requests him to wake up. Link, however, is a bit sleepy and lazy and turns away from the fairy to go back to sleep. The fairy seems annoyed and berates the boy.
Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? Wake up!
Link eventually agrees and heads to the Deku Tree, where the tree tells him of the curse that has befallen it. After slaying Queen Goma and dispelling the curse, the Deku Tree tells Link that the one who wields such dark power is known as Ganondorf, and the man came to him demanding the Kokiri Emerald. It wasn't long after that the curse of Goma was placed on him. Now you must be thinking,
But what about the dream Link has at the start?
well, that remains the same. He still sees Ganondorf attacking him in his dream sequence. Link is told to head to Hyrule Castle to meet Princess Zelda, the Princess of Destiny. However, after Ganondorf meets with the king, he heads into the courtyard and meets with Impa, and there he notices the two kids. Impa notices this and says,
"Do not disturb the princess and her guest."
Ganondorf gives a small grin.
"Of course, but I remind you to stay out of my way till I find my answer."
Cell looks concerned at Impa as Ganondorf leaves, but Impa reassures her.
"I believe in your future, princess. That man will not stop me from serving you."
On the request of the princess, Link is tasked to help the Gorons like in the original game. When he arrives at Death Mountain, Ganondorf has put a boulder in front of Dodongo Cavern and is believed to have summoned the monsters that roam inside as well. Link blows up the boulder and heads into the Dodongo Cavern. He slays King Dodongo and then obtains a Goron Ruby from Darunia. The next up is the Zoras, and yes, by now Link has learned all the songs he can at this point. Link finds out that Ruto has been swallowed by King Jabu Jabu and ventures into the ill-stricken lord to save her. Once again, we learn that Ganondorf demanded the Zora's Sapphire and was in the Zora's Fountain to check on Lord Jabu Jabu. After curing Lord Jabu Jabu and obtaining the Zora's Sapphire from Ruto and getting engaged, Link decides to head back to Hyrule Castle, and the same events from Ocarina of Time play out. However, when Link draws his sword to Ganondorf, he claims,
A brave one, aren't you? Courage is misguided without wisdom, boy, and pointless without power.
He blasts the boy and does a little laugh, then departs after Zelda. Link obtains the Ocarina of Time and goes to the temple like the original. He then takes the Master Sword and opens the Sacred Realm. Ganondorf appears before him and tells him,
Thanks for opening the door. You confirmed all my suspicions and allowed me access to this place before others could.
He then takes his leave and we jump ahead 7 years in time. We now find ourselves at the start of Ocarina of Time. The Kokiri child Link is visited by the fairy Navi, who requests him to wake up. Link, however, is a bit sleepy and lazy and turns away from the fairy to go back to sleep. The fairy seems annoyed and berates the boy.
Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? Wake up!
Link eventually agrees and heads to the Deku Tree, where the tree tells him of the curse that has befallen it. After slaying Queen Goma and dispelling the curse, the Deku Tree tells Link that the one who wields such dark power is known as Ganondorf, and the man came to him demanding the Kokiri Emerald. It wasn't long after that the curse of Goma was placed on him. Now you must be thinking,
But what about the dream Link has at the start?
well, that remains the same. He still sees Ganondorf attacking him in his dream sequence. Link is told to head to Hyrule Castle to meet Princess Zelda, the Princess of Destiny. However, after Ganondorf meets with the king, he heads into the courtyard and meets with Impa, and there he notices the two kids. Impa notices this and says,
Do not disturb the princess and her guest.
Ganondorf gives a small grin.
Of course, but I remind you to stay out of my way till I find my answer.
Cell looks concerned at Impa as Ganondorf leaves, but Impa reassures her.
I believe in your future, princess. That man will not stop me from serving you.
On the request of the princess, Link is tasked to help the Gorons like in the original game. When he arrives at Death Mountain, Ganondorf has put a boulder in front of Dodongo Cavern and is believed to have summoned the monsters that roam inside as well. Link blows up the boulder and heads into the Dodongo Cavern. He slays King Dodongo and then obtains a Goron Ruby from Darunia. The next up is the Zoras, and yes, by now Link has learned all the songs he can at this point. Link finds out that Ruto has been swallowed by King Jabu Jabu and ventures into the ill-stricken lord to save her. Once again, we learn that Ganondorf demanded the Zora's Sapphire and was in the Zora's Fountain to check on Lord Jabu Jabu. After curing Lord Jabu Jabu and obtaining the Zora's Sapphire from Ruto and getting engaged, Link decides to head back to Hyrule Castle, and the same events from Ocarina of Time play out. However, when Link draws his sword to Ganondorf, he claims,
A brave one, aren't you? Courage is misguided without wisdom, boy, and pointless without power.
He blasts the boy and does a little laugh, then departs after Zelda. Link obtains the Ocarina of Time and goes to the temple like the original. He then takes the Master Sword and opens the Sacred Realm. Ganondorf appears before him and tells him,
Thanks for opening the door. You confirmed all my suspicions and allowed me access to this place before others could.
He then takes his leave and we jump ahead 7 years in time. Link now stands in the Chamber of Sages with Rauru, the Sage of Light. Rauru informs Link about the Dark Force that came into the Sacred Realm and how the world has changed. He tells Link about the time skip and that Link is the chosen hero of time and destined to destroy all evil. He requests Link to go out in the world and seek the sages as they have fallen over time. Link appears in the Master Sword Chamber, and as he's about to leave, a female figure jumps down and looks at him. It appears to be a Gerudo warrior and she chuckles.
Ah, so this is the wielder of the Master Sword. My master was expecting you.
She draws her sword and points one to him.
Now, let us see if you are truly as legendary as the legends say.
A fight breaks out and Link of course defeats her, disarming her in the process. She chuckles.
All right, you got me. You are who the legends claim.
She quickly throws a Deku Nut and escapes before chortling towards Link.
If you want to find your princess, come to Gerudo Valley. My master awaits you.
Link leaves the Temple of Time and sees the castle town in ruins, as well as a dark castle floating at the location of the former Hyrule Castle. Link has no choice but to head to Gerudo Valley to only find out that the bridge is out. He doesn't know how to cross it, but before he leaves the area, he is approached by the mysterious Sheik.
The road towards destiny is never a straight one. One must veer from the path they take to find another answer. Head to the forest temple. The one called Saria has been taken by its darkness. Let one of the Shika, such as myself, find a path across.
Link agrees and heads towards Kokiri Forest and the Forest Temple. After cutting through the Forest Temple, Link encounters the boss, which is a new boss obviously, the Root of Evil, Baba Mama. Yeah, I know, a Baba boss in the Forest Temple? It makes the most sense to me. After all, Phantom Ganon cannot be here now. After saving Saria and learning the truth about himself and the Civil War, Link leaves the forest once and for all and encounters Sheik, who tells him about Lon Lon Ranch and how it has fallen to Ingo. Link defeats Ingo in a race and claims Epona as his own. He then sets out to Gerudo Valley to confront Ganondorf. As Link arrives at the Gerudo Fortress, he instantly gets surrounded by Gerudo warriors, and they lead him to the throne room inside the Gerudo Fortress. Now he comes face to face with Ganondorf sitting on the throne. However, Link has been disarmed by the Gerudo and can only listen to the Gerudo King. Ganondorf raises his hand and Impa and Sheik drop in. He speaks up and says,
So you have come per my request and even restored the forest temple to its natural order. I can say I am quite impressed with your accomplishments already. However, I can see the confusion in your eyes. Why are your allies standing next to me? Why is the world like it is? I am afraid I am to partially blame for this.
Ganondorf stands up from his throne and walks to Link.
In my past, I have encountered a horrible evil, and almost let it corrupt me. This has led me to believe that this evil is the one behind it all. For years, I have tried to warn the Hyrulean family of its existence and how to dispose of it. But every time, the king denied it. So I worked with my other closest ally, the Sheikah. They saw what I saw. They knew what I could do. They believed in me.
Sheik steps forward and speaks up.
Princess Zelda found out not long after your last meeting what was going on, and decided to have you, the chosen hero, gather the royal gems and open the sacred realm. However, this was part of the plan the evil wanted. If it wasn't for Ganondorf, the Triforce would have fallen into its hands.
Ganondorf nods in agreement and looks at the hero.
The Triforce, as we know, is split, and we have only secured a single piece of it.
Ganondorf raises his fist and reveals the Triforce of Power on his hand.
I command the Triforce of Power, which I took when you opened the door to the sacred realm. The evil itself had already entered the realm, but by luck, I was able to get this piece. For years I have been trying to stop it, prevent it, but alas, the goddess has forsaken me to not be the hero, but you instead. And thus I found out that the princess's plot, and decided to play along and pretend to be the evil she foresaw. A way to simply misguide my enemy.
Ganondorf turns around and looks at the two Sheikah.
And with the princess safe here in Gerudo Valley, and the Sheikah's assistance, we have determined the evil is an ancient one. It will soon try to steal the Triforce from us and take full control of Hyrule. But all is not lost.
Impa now steps forward and starts to speak as well.
We simply need you, the hero, to awaken the sages. Together with all the power we have, we can drive this evil from Hyrule, and if our cards are played wisely, seal it away forever.
Ganondorf turns back to Link and exclaims,
A large evil sleeps in the Spirit Temple not far from here. My mothers have sealed the temple to not allow it to escape. However, I might fear the worst to happen to them. If that seal breaks, then the evil within the temple will spread to here and destroy us. However, we cannot deny that the other sages are just as important.
Sheik exclaims,
The next temple you should focus on is the Fire Temple. We believe the next Sage of Fire is in mortal danger. Though the Spirit Temple is a looming threat, we can keep it at bay till the other temples are recovered and the sages awakened.
Ganondorf heeds a warning to Link.
Do note that any that remained of the royal army has now been corrupted and twisted into monsters. The kingdom has fallen under the evil spell, and only the hero and the sages can undo the spell that's been placed. I request you to awaken the other sages first, while we prepare our counterattack on the evil within the former Hyrule Castle.
Link, now relieved that the Princess Zelda is safe, retrieves his gear from the Gerudo and is now free to roam the Gerudo Fortress. In this version of the fortress, it's essentially a hub where you can talk to Sheikah and Gerudo as they walk around as townfolk. With Link now knowing the truth about Ganondorf, he sets out to the Fire Temple to save the Gorons once again. The rest of the game mostly goes the same. Fire Temple? All the same with the Vita Volvagia. Ice Cavern? Still the same with Sheik teaching the song. Water Temple? A few differences. Remember the encounter with Dark Link? That room is now called the Room of Reflection, and it was corrupted by the evil which made Dark Link appear in the reflection. Otherwise mostly the same. Bottom of the well? Same as always with the scene of Bongo Bongo's escape in Kakariko Village. Shadow Temple? Same with Impa heading into it herself to deal with it. After all the other temples have been liberated, Link's next task is to go to the Spirit Temple. He first heads to Ganondorf, who informs him of the following.
The seal of the Spirit Temple has been broken. My mother seems to have been unable to contain it. I can't believe I am sitting here doing nothing. Link, I need you to hurry and awaken the Sage of Spirits. Do not worry. I have a gift for you to help you conquer the Spirit Temple. Take the silver gauntlets. It was found by my most loyal subject, Nabooru. She should be at the temple as well to aid you.
So, do we travel to the past? No, the past temple's not used at all. Don't worry though, I still have one more time travel shenanigan ready for you all. Link swiftly arrives at the Spirit Temple, but finds Nabooru nowhere to be found, and instead encounters Sheik again, who teaches him the song to return to the temple and tells him that Nabooru has been captured within the temple walls. Link quickly ventures through the Spirit Temple and reaches the throne room. Instead of fighting Nabooru in the dark knuckle armor, you encounter Phantom Ganon. It's just the same tennis match as you always would. And then, Twin Rover reveals themselves and chortle towards Link.
Our son's phantom? Defeated? How dull. He still resists his dear old mothers. Isn't it cruel? He denies his practice's purpose, even had us seal the evil here. But now we release it! Darkness must rule, young man. It is the destiny of our people, our true purpose. Don't you see? Well, why don't you come play with us? Once you're gone, nothing will stop us.
Link confronts Twin Rover and the fight breaks out. After a fierce battle, Link is victorious against Twin Rover and awakens Nabooru as the Sage of Spirits, who dispels the evil from the temple. After this, Link has to return to Ganondorf and tell him what happened. After explaining to Ganondorf, Ganondorf says the following.
My mothers did not possess a strong will like me. At least their spirits will rest in peace now. Our enemy is remorseless. There is an evil that was sealed away by your ancestors long ago. When all the other sages fell during the Civil War, it was released. Though part of it or another force was behind this all, a devious one. But at least you gathered all the sages, and now it is time for our plan to spring into action. Link, go to the Temple of Time. Sheik will provide you with any remaining information as we prepare the assault.
Link arrives at the Temple of Time and meets with Sheik. Here, Sheik reveals herself to be Princess Zelda in disguise.
I am sorry for deceiving you for so long, Link. But you have to understand that this evil that plagues our land has deceived us all. Ganondorf was not our enemy, but an ally. And now, with the sages awakened, I can grant you this power to save Hyrule once and for all.
Zelda bestows Link with the light arrows. However, the evil from within the castle encases Zelda in a crystal, and an echoey voice is heard through the temple.
So this is where you were hiding for years, Princess Zelda. Your father was very lonesome without you around. I thank you for doing the effort for me. However, your use is no longer needed. I will destroy this temple and you with it.
Link quickly rushes outside to see a giant Hinox heading towards the temple to destroy it. However, the Hinox is quickly disposed of by Ganondorf and his Gerudo army. Ganondorf shouts towards Link.
Link, hurry up and save the princess! Remove this evil from our lands!
Link rushes towards the castle to prepare for the final battle, to only find that the castle is gone? Ganondorf quickly joins Link and looks shocked.
The castle? It is vanished? Our opponent seems more cunning than I thought.
The sages speak up to Ganondorf and Link.
There is another way to find the castle, but it is in the past.
Ganondorf turns to Link and says that he has a plan to get to the castle. He hands him the item known as the Gerudo Trident and tells Link that no matter the distance from the item, he can track it down using his magic, and thus the plan is formulated to find the castle by going back to the past. Link returns to the past and sneaks back into Hyrule Castle via a new sewer entrance. And here we learn the truth about our villain. As Link sneaks past the guards, he sneaks past the king's quarters. Here we see the king sleeping on the bed and some cloaked figure speaking.
That foolish Ganondorf thinks he can stop me? His magic is nothing compared to mine. What a fool. The key to my ascension is with the princess.
The figure looms over the king.
It seems my puppet might have to play a longer role. I have already gathered some power, but not until I have it all can I rest easy. I will get everyone to obey me. Get them to hate Ganondorf more, start a new war, and gain all of the Triforce. I will burn this land down if I have to, just to flush him out. And once he lies dead at my feet, will I have my victory!
The hooded figure raises up the king like a puppet with his magic, and Link quickly sneaks out of there into the castle's dungeon. Don't ask how that works. Level design in the Zelda games has always been weird. Down in the dungeon, Link has to fight some dark nuts. And as he reaches the depths of the dungeon, he finds a lone cell and hides the trident in a broken wall. With his mission done, Link returns to the future and Ganondorf. Ganondorf asks if Link's mission was successful, and Link nods to him. Ganondorf smirks and holds out his hand, using the Triforce of Power to locate the castle and his lost trident. And then he finds out it's up in the clouds? The sages combine their power to make a teleportation spell to head to the Sky Castle, but claim only 2 people can go. With this, Link and Ganondorf decide to go in alone, as Ganondorf's army secures the castle town. Now this dark Hyrule Castle is similar to Ganon's castle. When arriving at the hall, Ganondorf notes the barrier of the middle turret, and pretty much tells Link to find a way to open the barrier, as he will hold guard if anything comes out of the main turret. Yes, it's called a turret, people. Link checks all the rooms and does all the challenges that face him in there, and then finally opens the way forward to the main tower. Ganondorf, however, stays behind to cover the front door in case anything tries to sneak up on them, telling Link that he's the chosen hero to save Zelda, and he will find a way to them once Link locates the enemy. Then, together, they will rid this evil from the land of Hyrule, so it can know peace again, and the Gerudo can live happily in the open. As for the gameplay, it is similar like in Ocarina of Time, and of course the music playing in the background is actually the Hyrule Castle theme from Link to the Past, but twisted. Similar to that of in the Minish Cap, Link eventually reaches the top and he sees the King of Hyrule sitting on a large throne with a crystallized Princess Zelda. The king laughs at Link.
So this is the legendary hero, I presume. The princess told me a lot about you. It is hard for me to believe that you and that petty thief were going to be such large thorns in my side.
The king slowly gets up and raises his hand. He reveals to Link the Triforce piece he holds, which is the Triforce of Wisdom. And yes, he took Wisdom. So why does he need Zelda? He believes Zelda is the key to find the other pieces. Link looks at his hands and there it is, the Triforce of Courage. No one knew it was there. The King of Hyrule scoffs at the boy and unleashes a wave of darkness.
The Triforce is only for those of the royal line, and such power does not belong to you.
Link remains standing and draws his sword to the king. The king flies up and does an evil laugh, and pretty much starts the fight similar to that of Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time. However, you're just fighting the King of Hyrule in this case. Link defeats the king, and from its body, a dark figure jumps out and scoffs at Link.
It seems my puppet's life has come to an end. Shame.
The king fades away into nothing as the figure rises up and takes off his clothes to reveal being with long, flaming purple hair, 3 red eyes with one in the middle of his head, and light purple skin. Indeed, the true evil behind all of this was Vaati, the Wind Mage, who appears to have taken a bit more of a demise-like form with his hair and eyes.
It appears you have more fight in you than I expected. Shame all that power was used to destroy nothing more than a puppet. I, Vaati, will now take the Triforce for myself!
The second part of the fight starts, which is similar to that of a whiz rope fight. Vaati teleports around and making images to fool Link. As to explain this for gameplay, you shoot the one that's glowing whenever he casts a spell with the Bow of Light, then hit him a few times with a sword. Like always, after 3 successful combos, the fight ends. Vaati's down on his knees and looks disgusted at Link.
You really don't give up, do you? I am the god of this world! You cannot defy me! You are nothing more than a...
Before Vaati can finish his sentence, a large sword sticks through his chest.
You, a god? Please, no one will obey you.
Ganondorf stands right behind Vaati, stabbing him with his large sword, then pulls it out of him and pushes Vaati aside.
Your stain on this land will be removed, and we will build a better kingdom, so the likes of you will never return.
Vaati, still alive, looks at Ganondorf with hatred in his eyes.
You think this is over? You fool!
Vaati uses the last of his power to make the castle starts collapsing on itself, and like in the original Ocarina of Time, you have to escape the castle, but this time with Ganondorf and Zelda on your side. However, as you are escaping the castle, it is not Zelda as the one who's opening the door, but Ganondorf, as he simply uses his power to bust open the gates. The group escapes and they look back at the ruins of the collapsed castle and the sky around them, which is full of thunder and darkness. They celebrate, but then a thump is heard. Link goes to check what it is as Ganondorf protects the princess. Vaati flies up from the ruins, a lightning barrier comes around the area, and he transforms into his infamous orb form. As Link is surprised, Vaati smacks the Master Sword out of his hand just like Ganon would, and it lands next to Ganondorf and Zelda. He shouts loudly to Link in a distorted voice.
You shall not leave! The power is mine to claim!
And thus the true final battle against Vaati begins. Now, unlike the fight with Ganon, this is more like the original Vaati boss fight, where you have to use Gust of Wind, he spawns to throw bombs up to stun him before taking a shot with the light arrows into his eye. After enough shots from the light arrows, Vaati falls down to the ground and the lightning barrier lowers. With the barrier down, Link goes to retrieve the Master Sword. With the Master Sword retrieved, you can now slice Vaati whenever he's down on the ground. The battle rages on, but after a while, Vaati once again collapses fully to the ground and looking weak. Zelda comes in and uses her power to hold Vaati, and Ganondorf rushes to Link's side, proclaiming,
Hey, Link! Let's finish it, while the princess uses what little power she has. With our combined Triforces, this evil will be vanquished forever!
Link and Ganondorf use the power of their respective Triforce pieces to use a combination blow to finish off Vaati. Vaati turns into a dark mist and seems to fly away. However, Zelda intervenes by summoning the sages, and together they seal away Vaati.
Curse you, Link! Curse you, Ganondorf! Curse you, Princess! As long as I have the Triforce of Wisdom, I will return! I have returned from worse!
The sky around the castle ruins becomes clear and the three smile to each other. And now that ending scene with Link standing in the sky with Zelda makes a bit more sense than in the original, doesn't it? Zelda and Ganondorf thank Link for his help, but both came to an agreement that they robbed his childhood and put their responsibilities on him. They intend to send Link back into the past with the message of where Vaati is and what he's plotting, As Link is leaving, Ganondorf smirks and says,
You know, I would have loved to fight you once, kid. You would have been an amazing sparring partner.
Link finds himself back at the Master Sword Chamber where he's returned the sword, and Navi leaves him. However, Navi makes a faint whisper as she leaves.
I wish I could have been there earlier for you. Stay strong, my Link.
And with that, we have the classic timeless split from Ocarina of Time as Link warns Zelda, Impa, and Ganondorf about Vaati and his plans. Thus, peace is restored to Hyrule. Or is it? Wait, the downfall timeline? Is this still possible? Yes, in fact, it is inevitable. Now sit back, relax, because here's a personal theory and how it will play out in this type of scenario. In this timeline, when Link tries to go to the Shadow Temple, he doesn't learn the Song of Storms in the windmill. Why not? Because Link never played in the past, therefore it can't be in the future. It's a bit of a time paradox thing and I'm trying to explain it, so it's just a bit of theory crafting, but go with it. So instead, Link scurries the land to find the Song of Storms, which he does as he asks the spirits of the composers that made the Sun Song where it's hidden. However, with this, the Sage of Shadow Impa is killed, and Ganondorf himself has to cleanse the temple. However, with one sage down, that is not a good sign. He tells Link there's nothing he could have done and he shouldn't blame himself. They did what they could. And then at the final battle, Ganondorf has to use the power of his Triforce and his own magic, with some help of the remaining sages, to get inside the castle. However, this tires Ganondorf immensely as he's not used to using so much power of the Triforce, but he tells Link everything will be fine. Then when Link defeats the Puppet King and Vaati, just when Ganondorf shows up, Vaati is faster than the fatigued Ganondorf and defeats him, knocking Ganondorf out. Vaati then takes Ganondorf's Triforce piece and is looking at Link, laughing. Without any allies, the young hero cannot do anything. Vaati turns his orb form and strikes Link down with a barrage of lightning bolts. However, Link doesn't give up and frees Zelda from her imprisonment. Zelda uses this moment to help Ganondorf up as Link keeps fighting Vaati. Through a stroke of luck, Link is able to best Vaati, and as Vaati tries to get away, Zelda tries to seal him away with the sages. However, the seal fails, as they are one stage short, and 2 Triforce pieces on Vaati means he's too powerful. With this much power, Vaati surprise attacks Link, killing him in the process. Link falls down to the ground lifeless, and the last Triforce piece is claimed by Vaati. Vaati laughs loudly and tells Zelda and Ganondorf they are next. The sages quickly use their remaining power to save Ganondorf and Zelda, and tells them to gather any forces they can to weaken Vaati, find new sages, and seal him away with the Triforce. Both Zelda and Ganondorf comply to this plan and set up base at the Spirit Temple, as they find a way to seal Vaati away with a new army. It is then a certain mask salesman appears before Ganondorf and tells them,
I have a certain mask. It has legends around dark tales of immense power. This mask is probably our key to victory against our foes.
And with this, the Majora's Mask is given to Ganondorf. They gather up a resistance army and confront the fully powered Vaati. They awaken the new sages, and Vaati eventually is driven away into the Sacred Realm with the help of Ganondorf's dark power and the sages, combined with the power of the goddess within Zelda. Hyrule is finally at peace and can rebuild. However, a lot was lost, and even though Ganondorf survived with the help of Majora's Mask, even he knew one day Vaati could return. Ganondorf orders the Gerudo to scour for any items related to this powerful mask, in case Vaati returns. And that is how this downfall timeline came to be. Now, the Song of Storms was still played in the past, which leads to the other timeline splits. So this is how the other timelines came to be. And again, it's just theory crafting. I'm not game theory or anything. It's just for fun. And with that, I think I covered everything around Ocarina of Time that would happen if Ganondorf was good. What do you think of this story? You like it? If so, leave a comment, like, or share it with your friends. And if you would like a continuation of the story in one of the other timelines, please tell me in the comment section. However, for as Ocarina of Time, this story is now over. I also like to thank everyone who worked on this project. This was such a big undertaking. I'm so happy we made this. I'm so proud of everyone. And hopefully in the credits section I put everyone's name. If I left anyone out for some reason, or you feel like you want to be in there, just give me a shout out. Because, you know, I don't know everything. It's awkward. But yeah, thank you all for watching this personal project. And if this becomes a series, I will make a better credit sequence than this.